Hello again from my front porch. Well, this is a different one. I'm actually doing this at the end of the day. I just got home from work and I'm excited about being able to do this at the end of the day because see, there's still daylight. Now granted, daylight savings time will come up and that'll, mess things up. But I thought, you know what? I haven't done one now in a couple of days, and so I'm going to do this one right now while I have the daylight to work with at the end of the day. It's so exciting. What's not exciting are the roads. We had some nasty little bit of ice come through here, and in fact, I thought about doing this one from my driveway and letting you watch me slide around, and I realized not only would it be dangerous to me, but it'd be dangerous to my phone too. So, so I opted not to do that. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about was Black Panther. I actually went and saw it this weekend. Haven't had a chance to share with you about the experience. So I went and saw it, and one of the first things I'll say is a lot of people are saying that Black Panther is Marvel's finest movie so far. It's the best movie that they've done so far. And personally, I'm going to agree with that. I think it was a fantastic movie. It was the acting was amazing. The story was solid and intricate. Some parts of it were kind of predictable, but ultimately it is a superhero movie. So, there's certain things that are just always going to be predictable. You just have to deal with it. It's not that you're surprised about what happens. It's that you get to follow the story of seeing it happen. And so really that's the mindset to approach Black Panther with. So anyway, I thought that it was great on every level. The cinematography, the scripting, the pacing, everything you could rank a movie on, I thought it right down the list. It boom, 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 was a fantastic movie. In fact, I think that if you've not seen any of the other Marvel movies, you know nothing about the Marvel characters, you've never read a single Marvel comic book, Black Panther or otherwise, I think you could still enjoy this movie. I think it stands alone as a movie on its own. No question about it. I think it was it tells a great story, and it's got some really, really poignant dynamics to it. And so if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go see it. Now, I will say it is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that means it does interconnect with things. So if you really want to understand, you got to watch at least a few of the other Marvel movies. I would personally recommend, if you haven't seen Black Panther yet and you want to brush up on your understanding of all things Marvel before you go see it, or at least brush up on the aspects that will be relevant in the movie, I would recommend that you watch the Avengers Age of Ultron, that you watch Captain America The Winter Soldier, and the more recent Captain America Civil War. The Captain America Winter Soldier is probably the movie that contains the most interlocking connections because there's entire elements of the Black Panther movie that draw directly from things that we saw in the Captain America Winter Soldier movie. So that's definitely one that if you haven't seen it, you might want to watch it just to have a deeper appreciation of what happens in the movie. But again, in the Black Panther movie, I felt like they did a great job of still explaining just enough so that the casual viewer can understand it without having any of that other backstory details. But they don't stretch it out. They don't belabor it. They don't retell all of those things. It's just the perfect balance. I thought it was extremely well done in that sense. So those three movies, I'd recommend that you pull out of the Marvel archives and watch, if you will. Another thing I'll throw out there, just my own personal theory, but I think that they are setting up the King of Wakanda. I think the name is pronounced T'Challa. I might be wrong. And if I am, I'm sure I will be corrected. So I just call him the King of Wakanda. Anyway, King of Wakanda, I think, is being set up to take Tony Stark's place. See, Robert Downey Jr., his contract with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is wrapping up. We know he's going to be in at least a couple of films here. We have the Avengers Affinity Wars, two parts, part 1 and part 2 coming up. Pretty sure Robert Downey Jr. is signed up to be in both of them, but there is a lot of discussion that the second one will be where he terminates, where he ends his involvement, which would be huge because the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been around for 10 years in large part because it was kickstarted by Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Iron Man. Now, they've sort of retroactively included the last Hulk movie, the one that starred Edward Norton in the Bruce Banner role. Of course, since that has been recast, so that now it is, I just blanked on his name. Anyway, I can see his face. The actor who's playing Bruce Banner now, much better actor. Not necessarily better actor, but for that role, I think he's definitely better. I think he fits in, blends in well with the Avengers team. Anyway, they included that older Hulk movie that was kind of pre-MCU, pre-Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've looped it in so that events that happened there are considered part of it. But really, it was Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man movie 10 years ago that really kick-started things. And Robert Downey Jr. has been the main tentpole that has supported the MCU all this time, much like Hugh Jackman did with the X-Men movies, and Hugh Jackman and his portrayal of the Wolverine. Anyway, because nope, wrong guy. Because Robert Downey Jr. is approaching the end of his duration. In fact, he's just getting to the point where he's almost too old to portray an action hero. This Tony Stark Iron Man persona. He could still be Tony Stark, but retired from Iron Man. Maybe we'll see that. I don't know. I, though, still think that we're going to see a really dramatic death scene for Iron Man, a real sacrificial thing. It'd be a full circle storyline for Tony Stark, because we know that he began because of his selfishness and his arrogance and the building of weapons, and that his progression has been to understand that that is not the way he should focus life and be part of the world. And so it would be quite a culmination of his storyline for him to then give the ultimate sacrifice for everybody else. The reason I mention any of this in regards to the Black Panther movie is because I believe that Black Panther, the King of Wakanda, is being set up to take Tony Stark's place. Because if Tony Stark / Iron Man gets knocked out of the picture, potentially literally, who is going to step in to fill his shoes? Well, what shoes does Iron Man, Tony Stark, really bring to the Avengers? He's incredibly wealthy, so he can pay for anything needs paid for, and he has access to really awesome superhero gadgets and toys for them to fight the good fight with. Okay? Well, Black Panther, apparently limitless pockets, fully rich beyond imagination, and the King of Wakanda's sister is the genius, the Q from the James Bond movies kind of person. His sister is the one who creates these amazing gadgets and does all this, creates all these wonderful, cool stuff. So, if Tony Stark is now out of the picture, then the King of Wakanda can step in and fill both of those dynamics that Tony Stark has done. Additionally, there's also talk that Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, is looking to end his time as Captain America just because he feels like it's time. It's time to hand that off to somebody else. So they could hand off the shield and the suit to another person. That's happened in the comics. There have been other people in the comics that Steve Rogers, the character, handed off Captain America to. That could be what happens. It could be, though, that the character completely is killed off. Similar to Iron Man. Maybe, the Civil War storyline has Iron Man and Captain America at odds with each other, and yet each of them still are the leaders of half the team. The team splintered and followed each of those two individuals. So it could be that both of them wind up coming together to give the ultimate sacrifice at the same time, in which case not only do we lose Iron Man, but we also lose Captain America. in which case there's going to need to be someone to fill that. And we know that in the upcoming Infinity War movie, we are introducing the character of Captain Marvel, who is basically a superwoman type person, but she has a lot of the same characteristics as Captain America in terms of what she does, what she brings to the team. So it's very possible that as a result of events of the Infinity War movies, here's my prediction, both Iron Man and Captain America will lose their lives. At least Tony Stark and Steve Rogers will lose their lives. And we will then see the Black Panther and Captain Marvel step into those leadership roles, which would be really, really interesting, especially from a diversification standpoint. Because right now, basically, you have two middle-aged white guys who are leading the team. It's splintered, but these two guys are leading the team. They could be replaced by a woman and a black man, which would be awesome. It'd be a whole new dynamic, a whole new context, and it'd be really wonderful for the fans to see that greater diversification of the team as well. So, anyway, that's all add-on stuff. Black Panther, great movie. I watched it in 3D. That was really, really good. And in fact, what I really appreciated about it was sometimes when you go to watch a 3D movie, there are scenes where you can just tell that was filmed for the 3D, where something's coming at you, and you're like, whoa, okay, that was in for the 3D. I don't recall seeing anything like that. There may have been a few times where a weapon or a spear was flying by or something. Maybe that was gratuitous, but it doesn't stand out. That's my point. The way it was done was really, really well done. So I'm probably going to go back and see it again in theater, and I rarely go back and see a movie a second time in theater unless I really, really enjoyed it. But this Black Panther, I really enjoyed, and so I'm certain I'm going to try to catch it again. I might catch it just in the regular 2D version, just to see how it's different, but the 3D version was definitely worth a little bit extra to pay for those seats. That was a great experience. So anyway, that's my summation of Black Panther. I encourage you to go see it. You don't even have to be a fan of superhero movies. You don't have to know anything about superheroes, and you will still enjoy it. I promise you. So with that, I'm going to get going because it's after work. I'm hungry. Going to go grab some dinner. And I'll see you next time from my front porch.